Oh, well, top of the top, top of the top, top of the top, and happy MACM Tuesday to y'all. How we gonna say bottom of the bottom? We right there where we at, where we be. All right, and intimate. Well, we here for another MACM training. We're here for another make a chess move co-facilitator training. All right. If you've been with us this far, we've been through the first MACM law all the way up to the point where we are right now with the MACM law number 6. And just to recap for y'all, you know what I mean? The first MACM law is knowing your product, knowing your product. All right. The second MACM law is understanding one's place in the room that you're going to be in. The third MACM law is respecting them. That's looking at the code, the climate, and the culture of the space that you're creating. The fourth MACM law is respecting us, looking at the decision making process, looking at the structure of that decision making process. The fifth MACM law is, the small stuff matters, looking at logistics. All right. And today we're tapping into the sixth MACM law, which is processing agenda items. All right. And there's three steps when it comes to this, to processing the agenda items. And let me just say too, processing the agenda items or debriefing your activities, that's just as important as the actual activity itself, if not more important. If we don't take the time to actually take the time to debrief the activities that we participate in and that we run through, you know, we the whole purpose of it loses value. All right. So again, we're gonna talk about today the sixth MACM law, which is processing the agenda items. All right. Um, so let's go ahead and jump into it. We're gonna go ahead and jump into it. What do I mean when I say processing agenda items? Let's start there. What do I mean when I say processing agenda items? Hmm. Hmm. What do I mean when I say processing agenda items? For each agenda, time, you want to follow these three simple steps. All right. You want to get the information out. You want to make sure that you track the information that you're sending out, and you want to make sure that you're coming up with decisions. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at these 3 points. So first, let's look at ensuring that everyone has the information that they need to make a good decision. All right, that's the first process. That's the first step to processing the agenda items, is getting the information that you need, that everybody needs to make an effective decision out there. You want to make an informed decision. With that process, you could also encourage the sharing of information from participants, whether they have a PowerPoint, whether they have a proposal, whether they have a presentation, whatever that may be, in terms of just getting that the information out to everybody. It's also pretty useful to allow other participants to share any additional information that they may have about the topic. So when you allow participants to ask questions, that gives clarity. All right. If there are gaping holes or any unanswered questions, then, it might not be best at that time to make a decision. You might want to postpone the items so the information needed can be collected. All right. The second point, when it comes to processing agenda items, you want to allow for debate and discussion. That's very important. And the thing is, this process right here, it could be a little messy. All right. The most common way to do this is for everyone to stay in the group and discuss and critique possible solutions. Sometimes people will suggest new ideas while others will just critique the fuck out of what people are proposing and not come up with anything on their own. All right. So during this discussion, as the facilitator, you want to make sure that you're tracking for solutions. And what that looks like is, you could be writing down notes, looking at any solutions that people are proposing. You also want to be, gauging where people are at with the solution process. And that's you reading the room, that's you reading the audience. You want to be able to look at people and their body posture and how that's giving you feedback. If you see people nodding in agreement, that might mean you on to something. But if you see people with their 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 hands crossed and just mugged up and just not truly engaged, you might want to keep talking about the proposal in a positive way just to make sure that they're getting the clarity that they need to make an informed decision. And also too, you want to make sure that the people stay on topic. And myself, I'm one of the ones that'll get us off topic to begin with in the first place. You know what I mean? I'm dead honest truth. I'm so I be I mean, what could I say? All right, I'm not gonna hide. I'm not gonna try to downplay what I do sometimes because I got ADD. You know what I mean? So sometimes the group have to bring me back and put me back on topic because that's very important that we all stay on topic. All right. Um, but essentially, as the facilitator, the conversations it go where you lead them. If that's a conversation or even going off topic is leading us to the destination that we need to be, then roll with it. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't constrain yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. You know, it is your job to keep everybody on track. You let one person go off topic, and soon others will stray the fuck way off in Wonderland. So if someone goes off topic, you can just simply be like, you know what? That's fire. That's a cool idea. That's butter. You know what I mean? But right now, let's focus on this topic. Just to bring it back in. You know what I mean? And it's not being disrespectful. Is none of that part right there. So, um, that's key. Thirdly, when it comes to processing agenda items, when you sense that the group is ready to start moving towards an actual decision, the signs to be aware of when you're in a group and they're ready to make that decision are, you want to you see more than a few people are talking about implementing that idea. So now we're looking at the implementation process and not the idea anymore as a whole. All right. There's lots of nodding when someone talks about a proposal. Again, you want to make sure that you're reading body language. You're picking up on what people are feeding you. You intend it. Picking up what people putting down. You intend it. Also, you want to make sure that a clear proposal or a series of proposals have surfaced. You don't want to just be stuck with one idea, with one proposal, with one um, potential solution, because that's not the way. But at the end of the day, we will have to agree on that. But you want to have a collective of different ideas that you can choose from. And when it gets to the point where people are repeating themselves or repeating each other, that's when it's time to move on. It's time to move on. So once you're at that point, you know, state the proposals out loud just so that people can understand clearly what is being proposed. Ideally, you want to write them down so people can see them and then vote. All right. If there are multiple proposals, it can help to ask everyone to vote once for their favorite proposal. All right. And if there's a clear winner, then you Scott's free. You butter. You know what I mean? You gravy. Everything. It's all gravy train. You know what but if you don't have the votes to approve for a proposal, then it can help to ask the people who are opposing, because you will have those in your group. You know what I mean? You will have the ones who just don't want to group, who just don't want to agree with the masses. You know what I mean? And that's okay. All right. But if you have those, who are opposing the most popular proposal, then you can suggest ways that they can improve the proposal. You can either make alterations at this point or send it to a designated team, to come up with a better proposal. All right. But the thing is too with this, delaying a decision is always better than implementing a bad decision. Let me go ahead and repeat that again. Delaying a decision is always better than pushing forward with a shit idea. All right, I'm gonna just put it just like that. It's always wise to gauge whether the proposal has the support needed for successful implementation. All right. Important decisions such as deciding the group's priority, um, uh, uh, um, community campaign, we'll say that, should get the group's unanimous support, period. Even if it's, let's say, 51% is needed for the approval. You know what I mean? So when you have that unanimous support, like I said, it's all gravy train. So if we were to look at the decision-making model in a step-by-step tier type of thing, you want to look at it as, the first step is identifying the decision to be made. What type of decision do you need that's going to be made? The second step that you want to take is you want to gather the information needed. All right, so you can make an informed decision. All right, third step is you want to identify any alternatives, that is in this process as well. Fourth step, you want to weigh the evidence. All right, you want to look at everything that is on the table. All right. The fifth step is you want to choose from alternatives. You want to choose from the alternatives. And when it comes to defining alternatives, it's just a thoughtful decisions, the relevance of um the relevance of the alternatives. All right. Sixth step is you want to take action. And seventh step is you want to review the decision. So again, the process when it comes to processing the agenda items and debriefing your activities, again, like I said in the beginning, it is just as important to make sure that we are debriefing what we are doing than actually doing what we do. All right, let me go ahead and say that again. It is just as important to make sure we are debriefing the activities than actually doing the activities. All right, but I couldn't have said it any better. All right, if every MACM member was just like me, what would this world be? Peace.